Boom. Are we live? We are live. What's up, y'all? Second chase of the day. We're going to go live here with the speed chase, live speed chase. Going down here, Southern California. Let's see. Can I? Hopefully you can see me there at the bottom of the screen. Been having trouble with that. And we just got a notification that notifications are being sent out. We got someone in the chat. Chiro Sound, what is up? Can you see me on the screen, Chiro? Am I in a little circle at the bottom? Probably not. Look at that. There's a bunch of smoke there, it looks like. What's going on over there? Let's get a little audio going here.
Stadium, staying on the 5 South, so we're going to have to fly around. During large sporting events, they have what's called a TFR, a temporary flight restriction, which means that flights like ours may not fly through those areas for the safety of the people attending those events. So we're going to have
Juliana McGill. What is up? Mad Pax in the house. What's going on? We got a chase here. Second chase of the day. What's up? Mad Pax Juliana Norca. I didn't roll that too well there. Norca. And the Bud, what's up? We'll get a little audio going. Just a little heads up. Could anyone see me at the bottom of the screen? And we got Garrel, Midwest Night Watchers in the house, and it's a 187 suspect. We know what that means out here. Earlier today, there was also another 187 suspect, and unfortunately, a deputy from San Bernardino County lost his life. The guy took off in a motorcycle. He ended up getting hit by a car. It was wild. Yeah, you see Garrel here. Motorcycle chase did not end well. And I was thinking about earlier maybe doing a recap because it had just happened. I think it was a little bit after I went live. Cool. You see me. Right on. Thank you, Chi. And I did a little live earlier, went to Pasadena, did a few things. Yeah, I had to go to Verizon store. We'll check out. We got a little kind of unboxing thing going on. They did the unboxing for me, actually. I'll explain a little later, but I thought I'd go live since I was in the Pasadena area checking out some buildings we had looked at before, and then I thought there was a newer one, but no, it was one we had checked out in the past, I believe, but it was soon after that that I got word that there was a chase, and I was like, darn, well, we missed a chase there. There's been so many. There's just so many I can't even keep up. And real wild ones. There's a one a few weeks ago. Garrel remembers him and I were chatting back and forth, and the guy basically it was like a roadkill situation. It was all bad, not good. Let's see. Juliana here says, "Yo, in my adventures, I met a bear hunter from LA. He was heck of cool. Yeah, right on, cool. Thank goodness. You know, I have met quite a few people that were even living up that way that were from out here, but you know, they get the cool. They get the pass. That's what we call it out here when you get a pass. Um, yeah, that's super cool, Juliana. And here, let's tap into the audio again really quick. Smoke and Scan is live. I did get his notification, and I figured I was
like local units or CHP units might have. So
I'm learning not to talk over the audio. Also, I was gonna say I was gonna go live, but you know these chases sometimes will push me over the edge and will make me push the live, and that's kind of what happened here. But yeah, earlier there was also a procession for the fallen deputy, and condolences to the family. and it's not the I mean, Riverside's been having several. Was listening to the uh, police briefing, or the briefing, the sheriff's briefing, and yeah, it happened not too long ago. I'm trying to think of I knew, I was like thinking it happened not too long ago, and he mentioned something to that effect too, that they've been having that uh, situation happen where they lose deputies. And I'm not too clear on where we're at here. Let's see, San Fernando Valley. So we're in the SFV. For all you stoners, know that SFVOG. Looks like, yep, it does look like a Christmas train.
Hey, watch the left side. There's a laser out on our left,
There's
down low,
Humboldt
green
Street.
laser. So just watch your eyes. Oh, okay. Well, either way, it's
Street.
definitely hitting us. Okay.
And what I find fascinating, because I'm always thinking of up north, and speaking of up north, I just spoke to the Queen. Um, always thinking of up north, Northern California. And there's a lot of street signs actually around here. Actually, we got a Medford Street just right down the street, and then on my way to the shop, what else we have? There's a Klamath Street, actually a few blocks from me here. So we got Klamath, Medford, and then on my way to the shop we have Siskiyou Street. What else? And then, yeah, you see there's a Humboldt. Where else is there a Humboldt around here? There's all these street names that are related to Northern California. So, and I'm always passing by them, and it just makes me think of it more. I love it. Firewater, Firewater made the live. You know what? I could hear choppers outside. There's a chopper hovering outside too. So I don't know what's going on here locally. There's always something going on around here. But yeah, this is a little further out than here. This is out in the valley already. So I would say maybe about 20-minute drive with no traffic. You can see there's no traffic there now, luckily. And if we get enough votes in the chat, if you want to look at the ending of that motorcycle chase, we could get into that too. If y'all feeling a little dark like that, we could. I don't mind playing it for y'all, but like I said, it's a gnarly one. Let's see. I love you. What was that? Firewater. I got to remember to tap back in the chat here. Let's do that calmly. Take it easy, dwarf. Breathe. My darn little what is it? My little light. I got this extra little light, that people use for like selfies, or like, I guess, streaming and all that. Little light's acting up. Didn't want to turn on again, but it's all good because we got enough light. But I'll go ahead and plug in the computer. Notice that. Boom. Is unplugged. And while I'm up north, I keep thinking, why do I keep going back to Devil's Canyon? I don't know. I love it. Aha. Yeah, we have a Devil's Canyon here too. And I've been bringing it up because it's where that lady recently went missing, and still no word of her at all. And they said she worked for NASA, which is very nearby. It's at the foothills of these mountains, and she was an avid hiker of the area. 60-year-old lady. Who else? I think someone recently, that quite a few channels reported on this case, and I'm just wondering, like, yeah, where did she go? It seems weird. They eventually moved the case to, I think it was missing persons and homicide division. So I don't know. It seemed kind of like maybe it's a criminal case now. I don't know, but it's still missing persons. And yeah, no real updates. Steve Stockton, I believe, did I don't know if I wouldn't say an update, but he might have done two videos on that, and one of them is real recent. So yeah, I want to check that out. That's right near Devil's Canyon. And then right near Devil's Canyon is where the Chill Out campground is where we got that weird thermal footage. And it's about to be a year now that yeah, because it was last November that we went up there. So and we did do a follow-up the following week, which is a failure. We didn't pinpoint the location where the subject was and all that. And I've been talking about for about a year now about going back and doing a follow-up. And I did get confirmation from Bro to get some time off to, go camping. BD got a B day coming up at some point here soon. I know Gerald does too. Where my Scorpios at? Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Yo, bro, there's a reason. Let's see what's Juliana saying. Juliana got good stuff. She's like the gal from NorCal. Real farmer. Yo, bro, there's reason the old timer is named what they name. Oh, yeah, yeah. Names of places. Yeah, there's a big reason why. Definitely. That's why I always check back in. I wasn't one of the missing ones. Thank goodness. Yeah, thanks for checking in and letting us know when you come back from your adventures, Juliana, and anyone else. Let's see, Pomona Freeway, 60 Freeway. So I'm a little confused here. Southgate. So are we incoming? Is he incoming from the valley? I thought he was headed out. Usually people try to head out. Now I'm seeing Pomona Freeway, the 60 freeway. So we might be, let's see, Southgate, East Los Angeles. Let's see if he passed Dittman already. If he goes by Dittman, he's passing by the shop. Because right behind our smoke shop is the 60 freeway. I used to always say it was a 5, but it's the 60, bro. So I'm trying to map out in my head where exactly he's headed. So, and I see a split in the freeway. Uh, that wouldn't be the split to the 710, would it? Hmm. That's my route home. Yep, they're coming your way. Watch out. I'm not gonna give your location up, but yeah, they're headed your way. Norca. And I always try to give everyone, my peoples out here, a heads up when there's chases going on. I usually send out texts and stuff, but I guess this live, we're sending it out to everyone. And it's like a heads up, wherever you may be in the city, just and if you're driving or even walking, just a heads up because there's a chase going on. So always be alert for those alerts I send out. And what up, Hadley? Got to hang out with you on your live stream a few weeks back. That was fun. Hope you're doing well, sir, and everyone else up in the chat. Yeah, I had a couple Bigfoot things. I was gonna do like a little recap of what we did the other night. Felt like the other night my voice was a little groggier than usual, and so yeah, maybe I wasn't loud enough. I was being a little quiet also because it was oddly quiet around here. Yeah, we get those moments where it's oddly quiet as a car speeds off all loud. Uh yeah, so that chase earlier, my goodness. And that's just today. If I go back a few days, there's like I said, some real gnarly ones and we've been missing them, but it's all good. Let's see, the streets are hot today after today's Satch. Yes, yeah, yeah. There's a particular vibe, and I'm sure they're all aware. So they're like, they ain't playing with this guy at all. And There was one the other night, just the other night, I think maybe yesterday or the night before. I sent it to you, Norca, and it was over like within a minute. Remember? And they let the guy go. I think he was on a motorcycle too. This was just last night or the night before, and I got the notification. It was a smoke and scan. Went live, and boom! Right away they stopped the chase. The helicopter pulled back. They pulled back and just let it go. There was another one a few nights ago. Also, that guy drove into the fog, and out here it's like, yeah, we get fog, smog, and all that other funky stuff. So it's a mixture of stuff, but we'll keep it simple and call it fog. Uh, yep. And there's been quite a few of those where they escape. If they get too crazy, they'll just let it go. And I guess that's a good lesson for everyone, right? When things get too crazy, just let it go. Let the let the man upstairs take over. Let's see what's Firewater saying here. California drivers drive like they are on and then they come to Oregon where everyone drives like they're stoned. Oh god. Oh hmm. That's a good one. Definitely need a Bigfoot recap, my brother, after this long trip is no longer questioning anything. Cool. Yeah, we'll do a little recap of stuff and depending on how long this chase turns out. I mean, I don't know. It seems like I always say it. These vehicles seem to have a full tank every time these things happen because they go on forever. I say I wouldn't get too far just because gas situation. Luckily, I've been having a full tank lately. Thank goodness. And so I'm ready to rock in case anything happens out here. Things get a rocking. I did hear there was a thing. Speaking of rocking, there was like a big earthquake in the Caribbean, deep down in the Caribbean. There was that yesterday. Things are shaking around, and yeah, we've talked about getting that bug out bag ready. OJ was way slower. Yeah, well, you got to remember it was actually Al that was driving, right? It wasn't OJ. Uh, we forget that. Actually, I just thought of that. We always say it's OJ, but it was actually Al. Wasn't it Al? Blue Thunder, find him. We've also talked about the CHP having the new Dodge Durangos. I've been seeing more of them around, and they have like the ones that I've seen. It's like this camo brown. It's just a nice color, and they are kind of like, yeah, can't really tell unless you really look at them. It's like, oh, that's a CHP, bro. Watch out. Starting to see them around more. And so yeah, I see Rosemead Boulevard. Yep. So we're in the San Gabriel. We're up in the SF. No, no, not SF. SGV, bro. Get it right. Don't get it twisted. So we went from the SFV to the SGV, San Gabriel Valley now. Much respect to everybody from everywhere. Wherever you're from. Much love. But yeah, lights off. And what's my boy Mad Pack saying? Headlights off. Yep. Roger that.
Roger that, Mad Packs.
Yeah, another charge. Rack them up. Whoa. Switching lanes there. I don't think he signaled on that one. And could anyone identify this vehicle? Is this one of is it like a Scion, or could we get a make on the vehicle? Fire water. You should have had your bug out bag packed up a couple. Yeah, well, I left it up north. It's up north. My bug out, all my bug out stuff is up there. It's up on the hill. So I guess if need be, like they say, head for the hills. Not these hills around here. Yep, this guy has his lights off. Yeah, not very dangerous. Astro, hamster mobile. Some might say what do they call those? The clown cars. Can we get some effects here, sir? Where are effects? Cameraman. Am I not doing it right? Is it this way? Let's see. Let's activate our camera. All right. We just deactivated it. There you go. Now, can we get some effects for? Nope. About like that. Guess no effects at the moment. Maybe later. Chiro sounds. How do we make it happen? Can we get some? We're trying to get some balloons here. All right, let's get a little update here. Get the audio going again. Boom. I like the sound of the helicopter too.
Looks like they've turned off the lights inside the vehicle again and turned the lights on the outside of the vehicle on.
I was going to say I like the sound of the helicopter too.
And they have once again turned their lights off.
All right, turning lights on.
All right, we are getting reports that LAPD is confirming that the driver is a wanted suspect, unknown for what at this point. So, okay, lights back off. So there's something that this suspect is wanted for. So we know that. So what likely happened is that police, that suspect is linked to this vehicle, or the police saw them get into this vehicle, someone that they wanted already, and began a pursuit, initiating that pursuit. So,
all right, so he's wanted for something. Not sure what exactly yet, but I'm sure we'll find out here in a bit. Yep, throw up those sirens. Chiro sounds. See, Chiro got the sirens. I don't have the siren sound yet. I should have that. Let's see. I'm checking our effects inventory here. We usually have real sirens going off here, and I'm always questioning if y'all could hear it. So that's probably why I don't have the siren effect here, because I'm like, oh yeah, we get it all the time along with the train and other stuff. But yeah, they might throw a little speeding charge on there as well. Uh he thinks turning his lights off will help him hide. It's possible. You could there's always that, you don't know the invisible blanket trick, you know? Uh yeah, we used to do that. We used to put up our invisible shield up in Humboldt. You'd hear choppers come by sometimes and you'd put up the invisible shield and you could spread that baby out as far as you need to. And boom, they just sometimes fly on by. Never got camped. hear those stories. Juliana knows what I'm talking about. Yeehaw. All right, we're pulling over here. Let's see. We're going to make a U turn. Watch out. This is getting wild, folks. Let's go the wrong way on the freeway. Yikes. Heads up. This is getting cray cray right now. Viewer discretion be advised. All right. Let's go for it. Rodeo. Let's do some donuts for the cops here. Shouldn't be joking like that. What is happening? That was a little weird. Did everyone just see that? Clownmobile doing lights back on. All right. Let's keep it going. That's how it goes down. Let's see what they're saying here up in the chopper.
The wrong way for about 100 or so yards. We haven't heard anything about pit maneuvers. We haven't heard any spike strips yet. At these speeds, pit maneuvers.
Gustavo para la oficina, por favor.
Especially with the unpredictable nature of this subject. So we're not exactly sure what is going to happen or what the plan here is. But this is a strange one. This is a weird one. We've seen him driving the wrong way. He turned around, went the wrong way on the 60. He was going westbound on the eastbound lanes. Had his lights off. Officers kind of pulled over, let him go, and eventually turned around and came back. And
yeah, nobody went in for the pit. No pit maneuver was attempted. No deployment of spike strips. That was odd, and there'll probably be a highlight on this one. Still no word yet if male, female, who is behind the wheel. All we know is they are wanted. And I guess let's see. Under there goes the lights again. Erratic driving, would that be? What's the charge on that one? Somebody in the chat, please. Cryptolistics. I'm glad I was able to pronounce that. Epa, Gustavo. Gustavo's are boots in the ground in Argentina. Yes. And there's Roger. Finally. Roger, how long have you been in here, bro? Cheers, brother Roger. Always good to see you. Great supporter. It's always good to see him around too. I always feel comfortable when I'm in a chat room and then Roger shows up. I'm like, all right, thank goodness. All right, so some erratic driving there. This should get interesting if it hasn't already. And don't let me keep you up, folks. If it's past your bedtime, make sure you get that rest. BD actually got a little nap earlier, a little nappy poo, which is a rare thing. Pretty good day overall, though. So yeah, let's might as well do this as we're.
All right. If you're joining us, I'm Brian Andrews in News Chapter 4, NBC streaming We are covering the pursuit of a wanted suspect by LAPD. This began a little over 30 minutes ago in the Valley. Van Nuys. Oh, is he going to tap it again? Oh, looks like he might have. I don't know. This looks like he might have hit that center divider just now. Just strange driving, strange driving going on here. Almost. I got close to that vehicle. This pursuit began about 30 minutes ago in the Valley. LAPD Van Nuys Division initiated the pursuit of a wanted suspect. We haven't confirmed what that want was for. They drove around on the streets a little bit, ended up hopping on the 5 South.
You hear the choppers there, Norca? Right on. And yeah, so I was just showing the box. We got an upgrade, folks. You know, we do like to share when we get gadgets here. And that is the iPhone 17 Pro Max. We did the unboxing of this, I guess, what was it? The 16 I got last? No, 15. So we're rocking the 15 and just heard a lot about the camera on the 17. And so today I went and got my case because they delivered my phone, but for some reason they were giving me trouble with my case. And you can see the way the camera setup is different than the past iPhones. And I guess the processing of stuff, it's a lot, the pictures and quality of camera, I guess it's a lot better, shall we say. And so I'm excited. I haven't, done the old transfer and all that stuff. And they give you a certain amount of time to keep your other phone before you send it in and all that. So we'll be going through that and so excited to put that to use. I've had it for a couple days, but I didn't have the case and I heard that they're real fragile because they went from titanium to what is it now? Aluminum, I believe. Wouldn't be surprised. So that I guess they're real fragile and all that. And so I went and dealt with the case situation today, got that done. So yeah, we got to put this baby to work. And they're on the way to Pomona, out towards the. So it's interesting because the chaser, so he's headed out towards where the chase we're talking about earlier uh ended or started. I think that whole situation with the fatal uh situation with the deputy was in Rancho Cucamonga as the vehicle begins to swerve again here. It looks like he pulled a psych move there. I don't know if that was an exit. Looked like. So Pomona Freeway, 60 Freeway, 60 East. What Firewater say? Firewater's funny. Firewater. So yeah, a little upgrade on the phone there. And they were giving me some deals. They're like, yeah, we could give you a 16 too for real cheap and, add a line and this. And I was thinking, yeah, well, two phones, that'd be cool. You could get, do things with two phones. And, it's just amazing the quality of the phones compared to some of the real expensive cameras out there too. It's, your phone could go a long way and it's real compact, but they got all these other little things that you could add to your phone if you really want to get into like recording. I know we say filming. Do you still say filming even though we're not really using film, or how does that go? But yeah, there's these like cages and like handles and all these what would you call accessories, like we talked what is the gimbals? We've talked gimbals and there's selfie sticks and stuff like that, right? But there's some real tech ones I've seen. There's a company called B Script, and I've been checking their stuff out and yeah, pretty expensive stuff, but wow, is it cool. Looks like a real like professional camera, And I guess if you really know how to use the camera, you could get that quality of recordings. And I'm learning little by little, little tricks and things, adjustments and settings and all that stuff I really didn't want to learn, but now it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Kind of getting into that stuff. So let's see. What's Russell? There's Russell. What's up, Russell? And cool, the stream hasn't been, we haven't been, I don't think we've been buffering here. Been having issues this earlier this week since that last time we tried streaming. Seemed like Amazon was having its issues. You can see traffic there on starting to build up. Look, they're stopping on the opposite side of the freeway there. Maybe checking things, looky loos, probably checking things out. Got to be careful. Could cause an accident there. And that dude's really not hitting 100 and something miles an hour, is he? Let's see what happened here. What's going on? There we are. And the lights of Caltrans lights there threw me off a bit. Let's see. 57 North Riverside, East San Gabriel Valley, Diamond Bar. Heads up. Oh, sleeping. You are pretty tight. That's cool, Firewater. Sleep is good, especially when you get that good sleep. Or do you have some other? Is there someone in the chat named Sleep or something? And then, how do you pronounce that? ESF. Sup, Sam Squatch. From coast to coast, hiding near freeway forestry. Yeah, they're usually on the road, right? It's usually road cross sightings. Anyone got one of these handy little tools? Sam Squanch tool? Don't worry, that is not thunder, folks. It's someone rolling their trash bin in. In case the mic's picking that up. All good. We get all types of we're in the city. Get all types of sounds. So I was mentioning earlier how it was oddly quiet for that moment. Yeah. All right. The chase is dragging on. We are on the drag strip. Something's got to happen at some point. There's going to be either a stop at a gas station, and we've seen that happen, right? Midwest. We've seen people pull over, yeah, at the store too. We've seen some people pull over and go to the store, stop at the liquor store, get some things, get back in, and keep the chase going. 2025 has just been a wild, and I think some of the news stations already have. I seen, I forget what channel it was. The local news stations put out like you know, I think it was what was it? Speed chases, and it was LA speed chases 2025, but they stuck to ones that ended up in standoffs. Thus, this year and it was about an hour long. I didn't watch it because I've probably seen most of them. But yeah, I could already think of several that we watched this year that ended up in standoffs. You guys remember the one in Hollywood Hills? The lady they brought in the was it the armored SWAT trucks and everything. Yeah, there's been a few. What about the one here local? This one was locally when they came in through the neighborhood here. We were at the shop and they stop on the freeway. One passenger, I think one passenger gets out, and then the other one takes off with the vehicle. Left his dude there, his partner, took off, ditched him, and they came all through here, through our neighborhoods here locally, and it was just a wild one. And yeah, I could, if I sit here and think, sure we could keep going with that. What's up, Joe got the Chronicles. We got Cosmic Joe Chronicles up in the house, probably hotboxing the chat before we even knew he was here. Good to see you, Joe. Yeah, this chat is 420 friendly, folks, in case you didn't know. Uh, what is it? Light them if you got them. Let's see, it's a whole K2 school, K through 12 school. Yeah, it made sense. Kindergarten. I didn't know kindergarten was a German word, but it makes sense when I hear it now. You know, the more I listen to German, the more I'm able to pick out certain little things. I think that language is super tough, but it'd be awesome to learn. Any difficult language, if you could learn it, it's a super cool thing to learn. I'm happy to learn or to know and to be learning a couple languages, slang included. Ebonics, pass the Dutchie. Pon the left hand side, man. Yes, I. Light it up. And prayers going out to Jamaica. Prayers going out to Jamrock. Uh, if I'm not mistaken, I was told about the hurricane, right? Headed out, big storm headed out that way, Category 5. And I don't know if it's touched down yet, when it's supposed to touch down, but yeah, we do have fam out that way, folks. So I gotta make sure I touch base with fam here and to see. Like I said, this I did speak to the queen tonight, but we didn't get into that. Uh yeah, prayers out to the islands out there. And we talked about that big earthquake earlier, also in the southern part of the Caribbean. It seemed like when I seen the map, it looked like totally Trinidad and Tobago, which is a place I love. Been there a couple times and recommend it if you ever try to hit the Caribbean islands. I would recommend, and I'm sure I mean, there's a bunch of them, right? Smaller ones, and but yeah, good times there. All right, doesn't seem to be going too fast here. We got our lights on, and yeah, it's interesting that they haven't. Well, I guess can't really deploy, or could you? They could get ahead and maybe put some strips out. You just cop some Mao. Why? Well, let's see. And some sour D and Hawaiian cane strains. Nice. Yeah. Cheers to that. Some old school. Some well, they say the Maui. It's an old school strain. So I don't know if you can really find the original one, but maybe there's different newer versions of it, or maybe some of those original strains that might be mixed into some new stuff. There was I had never experienced the Thai sticks. Always heard a lot about it. Always wanted to check it out, even though they said some were opiated and stuff like that. Uh, but still, to check it out. We're smoking here. Looks like they're hotboxing the car now. Did we lose a tire? Did they deploy the strips already? Looks like or did we blow a gasket? We're starting to slow down here and looks like smoke coming out of the vehicle here. Bit of Capri Skunk. Let's see, bit of Kush Mints. Nice. That sounds yeah. We got let's see. In the jar, I got a couple jars here. And there was one, it was like a purple cushy, reminded me of the purple kush back in the day. It was But like I said, a lot of those strains get, you know, bred out, but very purple cushy, and the flavor was all there as well. Reminded me of the old school purple kush. All right, looks like wheels or something sputtering. Let's see. Russell, I have some Hawaiian haze reserved for cookies because I don't. High CBD strains get much better effects when I make it into. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Heights. One some of the cool CBD ones we used to get gifted. From Wonderland Nursery in Southern Humboldt. Shout out. Uh, yeah. There's a whole documentary they did. I think with Burner from Cookies. We talked about that. What was it? It was Harlequin, ACDC. What was another one? I'm trying to think. Richard wants a kookie. Kookie. Yes, Hadley likes it grown in the ground. Me too. Sun grown also. There's a big difference in flavors and all that. Out here in Southern California, you get a lot of the inside, the indoor, and everyone, actually, a guy the other day gifted me. I get gifted a lot of flowers, and I appreciate. Who doesn't like flowers? Come on now, ladies. Uh, and it surprised me because the stereotype for Southern California ganja heads. Oh, we got a blackout here. Is it all over? What happened? Where's our feet at? What's going on, Channel 4? We'll keep this rolling like this for a second. Gifted me, there we are. A couple nugs. Said nubs. It was like love of nugs. Some lovely nugs. With some it was like straight up sativa, like a mofo. And I honor those sativas. Some people are, you know, they know nothing about it, so they don't honor it or respect it. Up north they do, I feel. Of course, you got your connoisseurs out here that'll like that guy. But yeah, usually out here is heavy indicas, and however you could get it to look the prettiest and top shelf, whatever. But no, I like sun grown in the right place and in the ground if possible. If not, just as long as you could get that earthy flavor. You could add as much earth things as possible. And then the ocean forest mix too. I like. Oh, there goes a tire. You gonna stop and get that, buddy, or what? Might have been a spare. Who knows? Okay, I think it might be getting a little exciting here again as we lose a tire. What up, Latchkey Hustle? I think he's. Oh yeah, it's very possible. That's the thing now here too is that when we get these chases and stuff like that, is that the possibility of live streaming. Yes, that makes total sense, bro. So he's probably racking up the subs right now, the views, uh probably killing it in the live right now. So if we get any information on his channel, we might share it out here. And speaking of that, I always encourage you all to share your channels. Check out some of the channels you see up in the chat here, folks. There's some interesting people here, and I recommend you checking it out if you haven't already. If y'all don't know each other, Richard, what's the weather in Alaska, bro? How's it? Are we still down in the 30s? Yes, Sativa Fuego. And the dude said it was Jack Herrera, however you'd like to pronounce it. Jack Herrera. Uh who knows? They didn't have the Jack flavor. Jack has a very distinct flavor. I remember smelling it in festivals up north. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, what is that? What is that flavor? What's that?" It was very distinct, and it just something about, like, they say the terpenes. Where's Hillbilly Herb? We're gonna summon him now. Talking about all this, it just brings back certain memories when I taste certain flavors, certain terpene profiles. I guess you could say those flavors bring back certain memories, and a lot of those memories, it could be like childhood stuff, which is super cool. Certain, like, even like, recently I was tasting one. It almost had like this Pez candy type flavor to it, and I was thinking like Pez candies, and like, yeah, all these weird different flavors come up, and it's interesting how it works on the palate and on the brain, and it gets deep. Hillbilly and I we're talking about how also there's certain strains that are like basically like meant for certain people. There's certain strains that don't work for certain people, and that there's a strain out there for everyone. If you could only find it and keep it going for yourself, there would be the key. All right, Portland has so wicked weed. Oh yeah, I bet. Yep, my brother actually sent me something out of, Portland. This guy that beat, I guess, some murder raps, and I think he was like a dispensary owner. That was just today too, out of Portland. I didn't get into all of it yet. I'll be checking the rest of that out. Let's see. The car stopped. Smoke. Yeah, I think the blunt's done. Uh, and maybe they're rolling another one. Who knows? Let's see here. As Cosmic Joe, we got some sirens on this end. Yeah, beautiful day out in Pasadena today, and I know probably the rest of that area was looking like that. Latch, hopefully you had a good one. Could have totally gone in a pool today, and it's supposed to be, I think, 91. I seen up in the 90s tomorrow. And look, I got a message here. Boom, boom. I don't know if I'm supposed to share this out loud, but thank you, Juliana. Interesting. Cool. And actually, I was talking about my email the other day also. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not. Oh, yeah. Jack is amazing. And yeah, so I found out eventually at the festival, like Toucan Sam, my nose led me to a source there. And they're like, yeah, bro, is Jack Herrera, Jack Herrera. What's the book? I believe, and I have it somewhere. Where's my library? The Emperor Wears No Clothes, right? I believe that was Jack. And from what I hear through I was going to say the grapevine, but I guess you could say the ganja branch, that it took Jack 20 years of breeding to come up with that strain, which it was like, whoa, 20 years. And it wouldn't surprise me. Got to fact check that though. You never know. The emperor wears no clothes. What's that emoji with the one eye, the all-seeing eye emoji with the hand over the face? Remember, we're talking about. All right, here we go. We're gonna stop 7-Eleven. There's a 7-Eleven there. Get some snacks right quick. Uh, we were talking about how emojis They were saying that emojis are really demonic. Were they saying sigils or symbols? All right, making a stop here. What is this? Motel 6. What's going on? Rolling on Chrome in the back. I remember that song, Rolling on Chrome? It's a good one. Do, 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 do. Smash the Ace. Uh-oh. I'm surprised we haven't gotten any sparks yet. Let's see. How do we do it? Can we get some effects now, camera? Done with your break. Let's see. Sparks is. Can we get some Bubba Sparks up in here, camera? I don't know what's going on. It's suddenly not doing our nice little effects for some reason. All right. Better not be a cul-de-sac. We seen one just earlier this week also. It was in Orange County. And as soon as the chase started, like, when the chase started, we were able to see it on camera. They were heading down the street already, and they ended up in a cul-de-sac. All right, Marion Marion Drive, and it ended up in a cul-de-sac. And yeah, they just kind of 3, 4 units came and zeroed in, just kind of pressured the guy into a driveway. And one guy, the passenger gets out. And the sad thing was there was a puppy there. The puppy dog was just like, "What's going on?" Hanging out the window. And everyone was like, "Damn!" Up in the chat was pretty sad about the puppy because they knew the puppy was going to the pound, meaning it was getting locked up also, right? And then the driver, for some odd reason, came out of the passenger side window also, because the passenger, I don't know, did the passenger come out of the door? It's possible. But the driver came out of the passenger side window and then got caught. Yeah, one of his legs got caught on the window. So he's there like balancing with one leg for a while. Oh gosh. Yeah, that was a wrap. There it is, the face. See, and too bad it spells it out for me, so it doesn't actually show the emoji on my side, but I know the emoji is showing there. Kind of Illuminati-ish, All the eye, one eye thing. And if you're a member, you could we have little emojis. Maybe I'll switch them up here. So here's the cul-de-sac. Dang it, watch out. All right. Viewer discretion be advised, folks. Just what we were talking about. Smoke coming out still. Ooh, watch out. Oh, oh, watch out. They're gonna light them up. Watch out, folks. Heads up. If you're squirmish, you might want to look away. If he keeps driving, all right, this is the end of a chase here. Heads up. This is live. And he's surrounded by whoa, what was that? He just pulled that lady officer out of there. That was crazy. The hell? There's Rid. What up, brother? Yeah, did the Dodgers win tonight? I know there was they were mentioning even during this chase about traffic in certain areas. They are playing out here. Oh, look, he's backing up again. They're gonna light it up. Don't do it. They need to really box him in. And hopefully they don't have any weapons. And like I said, with the chase and the situation earlier with the deputy losing their life earlier today, I'm sure they're all very tense with that in mind. and we're gonna get a little audio going here. Welcome to everyone coming into the chat.
Great
If I
spot,
haven't
Jim.
said what's up,
Doing a great job. Oh my gosh.
yeah, they're completely surrounded.
Looks like he
There's
just
no way out
reclined
of
his seat.
that. You either give up or go out. And
Okay, copy that. Copy that.
we'll see what happens here.
Who's up here with us?
This is Ontario, California, not Canada. Yeah, we have an Ontario out here. And Riverside County, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, doors opening.
All
Doors
right.
open.
Hands
up. There's something in his hand. Kneeling.
Is that a
No,
phone?
don't do it, dude. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Uh-oh.
Put your hands up.
It's going to go for it. It's not stopping.
Oh, no. Ooh.
Ooh, they hit him with something there.
Hey, yeah, so we are at the termination of this
Non-lethal.
pursuit. This is a suspect that is wanted for murder. This pursuit began in Van Nuys and has come all the way out to Ontario. We're on Brookside Drive in Ontario. CHP, this pursuit started with LAPD, was handed off to CHP. This guy ended up, we had 2 tires that were blown. We've got video of that. We can watch that. And right now, we just watched him get stuck in a cul-de-sac, drive up against an officer. They surrounded him. He got out of his vehicle. They hit him with a less lethal. He's now laying on the ground. CHP is approaching him right now to arrest this suspect. Lots of erratic driving. He hit the center divider. He drove the wrong way on the freeway. He hit curbs. He ran red lights. It was not high speed, but it was wild and dangerous.
And Brian,
and there's that. That's a wrap, folks. Whew. Thank goodness it didn't end up in a worse situation. Thankfully. And yeah, let's slide on into some Sasquatch here. See, so this is from earlier. Check this out.
The sheriff identified him as 28-year-old Andrew Nunez, a 6-year veteran of the department. Tonight, we watched as hundreds of law enforcement officers paid tribute to one of their own with this procession from the hospital where he died to the coroner's office. Deputy Nunez was responding to a call of domestic violence around 12:30 in Rancho Cucamonga. He was shot, and the suspect then...
Whoa. That's the news there. That's not me editing. But anyway, that was the case earlier. I thought they were maybe going to show...
I was worried about the end of that one.
I thought they were going to show the motorcycle chase there. Maybe someone could pull up a link in the chat if you're interested in checking that out. Yep. Yeah, that was a phone there, right? And he's very lucky because they could have easily mistaken that phone for, a weapon. And maybe he's gonna, I don't know, they'll probably use that against him if he was recording. Got all that. I mean, they got video from the sky. So, oh man. Anyway, wild night, and you never know. It's still 11 o'clock. Usually the news stations actually stop around this time when there's chases. A lot of times I'll get notifications of chases going on throughout the night. But there's no chopper or news to cover it. Um, let's see, Monday night. I don't know if the stringers are out, and when we say stringers, it's the guys that drive around the city here and they go to calls and are there live and they're live streaming and stuff. Sometimes they're on Mondays. We'll check that out a little later, but we could get into some Bigfoot stuff right quick. We'll do that quick recap. Hopefully, Juliana's still hanging out. If not, you could peep it out later. Jules. Let's see. We'll stop this here. Let's do this. Boom. Yeah, glad we caught that because that pushed me to go live. I was being a little hesitant. The dwarf had cold feet there for a minute. Let's see. We'll dive into recap Bigfoot. So the last pre-recorded show we did a little recap on what MK Davis, and I do recommend this channel if you don't know about MK Davis, researcher, Bigfoot researcher. He does great analysis of videos and stuff like that. I really, I put the disclaimer out. I respect his work. I respect him as a person and everything. And in the Bigfoot world, like any other subject and stuff like that, there's always conflicts that we talk about and stuff like that. And I'm speaking for people that may not be familiar with the Bigfoot topic. So MK has been around a long time, and he actually stabilized the Patterson Gimlin footage, which is still to this day one of the more famous pieces of video even out there. Um, and not to mention Bigfoot footage. And yeah, so this location is happens to be our spot, one of our spots that we go to investigate these beings or creatures, however you want to call them. So recently he put out a couple videos, as you can see here. This one's 3 days ago. This one's 2 days ago. So the one from 3 days ago was, I've been following his work. I l- love what he does. Respect everybody what they do, whatever. But we should be able to ask questions also respectfully, right? Bring up a dialogue and all that. And so one thing, let's see here, he was getting into on this second video from 3 days ago was the area of Bluff Creek and how there's in that area there's sacred areas, and these areas are sacred to certain peoples that are in the areas there. We talk about the Hoopa people, the Yurok, and the Karuk, and I believe there might be other peoples that were in the area as well. Like I said, the China Flat, the Willow Creek China Flat Bigfoot Museum, uh, that our buddy Eric has been running lately. They've been so there's a section for Bigfoot in there, but the rest of the museum, it has a bunch of historical stuff from the area, which is super cool to check out, which you would expect out of a museum, right? And so they're revamping, and so a lot of the stuff there is also some of the stuff is from the local natives there, and they're revamping the whole native section there. They're really doing like I think I want to call it timelines and like just interesting maybe facts and like not really storyboards, but something along those lines. And it's super cool that they were doing that. The last time we were there, Eric was showing me how they were revamping that stuff. So yeah, it's super cool that Eric is like just bringing some of the uh, local culture, up and displaying it there at the museum. And then you have the Bigfoot section, which is super cool. But yeah, so these areas, sacred areas, and as of late, there's been several podcasts I've listened to with people from Hoopa, and let's see here. Let's see if I could do it like this. So I could show myself while I speak. Whoop, that didn't work. What happened there? There we go. Hopefully that's working there. So yeah, very special areas there, and just even the history of Louse Camp. So Louse Camp is a campground up in the Bluff Creek area. Just and I keep learning. I don't know everything that's happened. There's just so much history, and a lot of the Bigfoot stuff was happening even before the Patterson Gimlin film was taken. Uh, so there was stuff happening with the construction crew that was in the area when they were building roads in the area. There's that history there, but of course the rich history of the local natives too. And it just seems like a lot of times that information that they have is maybe overlooked or maybe not looked at all, but no, I love listening to their legends and their stories. There's been a couple podcasts with some locals from Hoopa talking about their the legends there and stuff, and it's not only Bigfoot, and we mentioned the little people and other things there, and me talking to Inker from Hoopa, and Inker is a elder from Hoopa, and Jonathan again got a really good interview with him, and it was just super awesome how all that came about. Basically, I found Inker for us and to get that interview, and it was cool not only to get the interview but just to even hang out with him, he for him to share his energy and time with us, and just how it just organically happened. It was amazing. So that area, up there, and just not only, and I'm just talking about that area there, but there's so many areas up that way and around the world, of course. But it's just interesting how it's just tied to Bigfoot and all that. So MK was discussing some information from that area, which was fascinating. So I recommend that checking that out. And then there was the video the following day, which gets into the his massacre theory, and which I have a little trouble with. He was describing some of the areas and where there was possibly a puddle of blood, and that maybe machinery was there, and that they had buried some of these beings. And so off the top of I'm thinking on my head, well, if they got buried, there's got to be bones there, or what happened with those bodies. And if those bodies were buried and there was blood there, and then they got video of Patty walking away from that area, how did all that come about? So it's like, did some get taken out, buried, and all that, and then Patty maybe came to check up on things, and they found her, and how it's all the whole timeline is kind of sketchy. There's parts of the video, they say, the video that what we get to see is like parts that were kind of put together, so there's more footage. The original footage is lost somewhere out there. There's so many things, right? And then all these characters and the backstory to the Patterson Gimlin footage and all that, and the players before that, the Four Horsemen, and it's just it goes on and on. And some people just are over it, and some people are just getting into it. Some people, uh, what was I gonna say? Yeah, and some people just we're back into it. Like we talk about these cycles of this stuff, and we're getting back into it. So you're gonna start hearing some more information about this stuff, I'm sure. And again, so I thought that video, the second video from 3 days ago, was is fascinating. I recommend you checking that out, especially if you're into like the spiritual aspect of Bigfoot, which I do believe there is. Um, because there's a scientific point of view of stuff that is just an ape that we have not found, and once again the natives keep telling us, and they've been telling us that there's a lot more to it, and we're starting to hear more of that, and my experiences have led me more that way. There's a lot more to it, I think. But I also look at it, I could look at it through the scientific eyes, and it leaving tracks and pooping and leaving physical evidence and all that. That's included, and that's what's cool about looking at it with a certain view, because if you keep it wide, then you're able to look at all that. But if you're just in the scientific box, then that's it. And you could only go so far until, I guess, well, further notice. But I think the other side of things, when you look at it, the spiritually and all these other different aspects of stuff, the orbs possibly being involved, and the weirder things that you hear in Bigfoot reports and people's experiences, uh, you, you start to get like a broader picture of things. Doesn't mean it all any answers are or all answers are done and answered. No, no, there's a lot of questions still. Very mysterious still, and it feels like, yeah, we're getting nowhere. And it's funny. I just posted a clip. So on YouTube videos, on if they allow it, some videos will allow you to take a little snippet of the video, and then you could put a title to that, and put your hashtags, whatever, maybe tag people on it, and then it'll give you a link so you could share it with people or whatever, or repost it on your post. So I took a little link of a new album that's out. And we'll get into it a little further down. I'm just saying this to remind myself. I want to share this as we'll get into some music. But it took a little clip off a new album from an artist I'm into, and it's funny. It's hilarious actually. There's some Bigfoot references, and I thought I would share that. So I would share that in the post, and we'll get into their website in a little bit here. So the massacre situation. Um, yeah, you could say murder. So, da, 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 da. It's yeah, I have a little trouble with it. And then we had Lazy Cowboy on YouTube. He's been doing these interesting how would you say I don't know if I guess he's using AI, and he's been doing maps of the Bluff Creek Patterson Gimlin site. And it's when I look at his videos and the maps and what he's showing there, it looks very much like the area we go to, which the Bluff Creek project gets props for. And there's been talks of other people supposedly that I guess used to go to the site but didn't know it was it or something, like some weird stuff before Bluff Creek and all this stuff. But they get the props for helping us find it and sharing with us where it's at, maintaining some of the trails there, and putting up some of the signs, having the little sign in jar. There's a little sign in if you ever go, there's a place for you to sign in, and you can see all the other previous people that have been in the area also. Is Hillbilly Herb in here now? I told you we were summoning him. Let's see. What up, Hillbilly Herb? Good to see you, brother. I don't know if you were here at the moment, but we did mention you, and it worked. The plan was to summon you here because we were talking about different strains and Jack Herr and all this stuff. You'll have to rewind if you want. It's just stuff we talk about normally, Hillbilly. You didn't really miss out on anything but the chase earlier. It got a little cray cray. But anyway, yeah, so I have a whole, a lot of questions about the massacre theory and all that. And so that was what we were getting into the other night, and I thought I'd recap that. Uh yeah, so MK, who knows? It'd be cool to talk to him and ask him some stuff, of course, respectfully. And there were some other things that were brought up about the PG film that I talked about the other night as well. And we won't get into all that tonight. But yeah, it- the mystery continues with all this. And yeah, sad situation if that is the case. Um, like I say, I hope not. Um, yeah, because they wouldn't be too happy with us if that's so. Boo, 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 boo. David Politis has dropped a video. He's been on this whole. Anyone follow David Politis here? Can I missing? We talk about him a whole lot here, and he's another one who I follow his work and have a lot of questions for. Also, I don't believe everything. That's a thing. I've been practicing more because I like to believe everyone. I like to think that everyone's telling you the truth, but we know. Uh, and there's questions. There are a lot of questions in life, and so yeah, I respect his work. I follow his work. I follow it closely, like word for word, and I have been for years. Um, and so he's been getting into this whole Dinky Creek episode. So Dinky Creek is in Fresno, California, and Fresno. That's close to the Sierra. I guess part of the Sierras there. There's part of Fresno, I guess, is considered the Sierras. Um, and it's this little area there. For some reason, he's been considered a cluster where all these people have mysteriously gone missing. What is it about this area? It's so the Sierras. When I think the Sierras, for him, ground zero for this phenomenon is Yosemite National Park. And so in that area, you also have a few other national parks. You have Kings Canyon, Sequoia, and Kings Canyon National Park in that area there. And and so yeah, the Sierras, a lot of mysteries up there, a lot of strange stuff has happened. We've gotten into stuff in the Sierras. There's that new series coming out called "They Took Her," and it's about the case of the young girl that went up with that man into the Sierras, and he came back without her and said that a Bigfoot took her. And so we've been mentioning that. So a lot of things we could bring up from the Sierras, and been to Yosemite several times, and definitely, yeah, trippy place. Love, I mean, beautiful. But yeah, it's something weird about those Sierra Nevada mountains. And so here he's been doing these episodes on Dinky Creek, and Dinky Creek has come up because I've gotten a few of his books, so I knew about it because of his books, and now I'm starting to see his videos on it, which is super fascinating. And also, we have a couple of subscribers that are up that way. I know there's Cryptid 559 who's out in that area, and again, rest in peace, Sunny, who's a YouTuber, and we got to know each other the past few years. Got to hang out a couple times. Actually, a little before his passing, he unfortunately passed away. And rest in peace, brother. Um, we actually got to live stream together. I think it was on his birthday. I think it was. It was his birthday. It was someone's birthday, either mine or his. And yeah, we're just hanging out on a live stream, just talking about everything like we are now, cannabis. And, he was a big ganja head. And he lived in that area, and he would tell me, yeah, and I knew already about some of these areas. And one of them that comes up is Shaver Lake, Avocado Lake. Um, what's another one? There's another area, and I think it'll come to me here in a bit. Oh, Washan is another one, and there's also an older channel, YouTube channel, and they still come up every once in a while. It's called Paranormal Central, and that's Jeff Gonzalez and Alan Thompson used to be a co-host with Jeff there. And Alan, he pops on his live. He's a Squatch Zone on YouTube, and they used to have Dave Politis on his Paranormal Central show. And for some reason, at some point, he stopped going on there. But that's also their area, all that part of the Sierras. And yes, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. They have a Bigfoot, Sierra Nevada Bigfoot beer. And we've been to their brewery, and at the brewery, they got little Bigfoot statues and stuff. Super cool. Big fan of their mustard. And actually, the Queen, I was telling you, speaking to the Queen tonight, uh, they're friends with the people that started Sierra Nevada. The guy that started Sierra Nevada, they got friends, and from the Chico, California area. And so I've heard some stories. Never got to meet them, but I've heard some Sierra Nevada stories before they really blew up. Super cool. Let's see. And if I get into the chat, I'm gonna lose myself. So I'll try to, let's see, returning conspiracy that are uh, might have to 22244, light them up, hillbilly herb. Yes, sir. I wish I had my piece handy here. Oh yeah, so Dave Politis in this Dinky Creek part 9 episode gets into all these areas that I've mentioned right now. And another area that got mentioned to me by a really reliable source and a famous source, we'll say, uh, was an area in the Southern Sierras also. So anyone in the, and I don't know if I'm supposed to share this, but it's come up in my I'm not going to say research, but in my searching of information, uh, Lone Pine, California. Anybody in Lone Pine or had anything weird happen in the Lone Pine area? If you're currently out there and got some high strangeness happening, let me know. I'm super interested. But yeah, the Sierra Nevadas, and we bring it up a lot. Every time I pass by Gorman, I make a little pit stop there and talk about the whole situation I was hearing. And Politis was one of them, one of the sources that I was hearing about strange happenings on the 5 freeway in the Gorman area. And yeah, we've been finding about Bigfoot reports in the past and kind of current ones also. So yeah, Southern California Bigfoot. And I guess there were some reports that I wanted to get into, which I don't think I will tonight since we had that chase earlier. I'm still kind of pumped up from that. Let's see. There was the album. Let's get into the album right quick because I'm excited about that. Got a notification, and this notification it was like it said something like I think I could pull it up. Here we go. Incoming transmission from Aesop Rock. Do you accept? And I was like, heck yeah. And so you could tap that to listen. And I don't know if I don't know if we'd get a copyright for that little transmission part. I don't think it was like part of the album, but we could try. Should we go for it? See if we get dinged. What's up? What next time? Oh yeah, reading reports. I'm just thinking right now if I get into reading a report, I'm sure it'll be like a hell of a long report and we'll be like, "Oh no, it's happened." Yeah, we'll do report night here soon. But anyway, so I got the listening. I was like, "Heck yeah, new album," cuz Aesop had just dropped an album. It seemed not too long ago. It was called The Black Hole Super 8 and this is not Aesop Rocky, folks, which is I think what the industry does, they'll find like an artist and they'll like, oh yeah, this guy, we got to make a almost like a I don't want to say a prototype, but like a clone and make it our version. And so there's this artist named out of all names is like, bro, there's already an Aesop Rock, but they brought out this Aesop Rocky and he's mainstream. And so when people hear the name Aesop Rock, that's the first person they think of is Aesop Rocky. See how they did that? Um, but yeah, it's cool. Aesop Rock met Aesop Rocky. There's a YouTube video, and they respected each other. And da da da. It was all good. But I see how the industry does that. I mean, what are the chances your names? It's like Nas and Little Nas X. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that. But whatever. I respect Aesop Rocky as well. Everyone's doing their thing. I just thought it was a little weird. Names were kind of close. Usually, when names are close like that, there's beef. Whether you're from like if you're a graffiti writer or whatever. If you have a YouTube name, even right, someone's name is it like way too close to yours, or there's usually some sort of issue, right? So anyway, Yeah, so new album by Aesop Rock, and I shared a little clip. There's little snippet clips I talked about earlier. I took a little snippet clip, snipped out a little part that I liked. You could take up to like a minute, I believe. And so I shared that out because there were some Bigfoot references, and he's done it before. He's done like paranormal references, uh, references to the old world topic. So I know Aesop is on top of a lot of the subjects we're into. So it's super cool to hear it in his music. And we'll have a look here. Let's see. Boop. So here's this. And so you could check it out on YouTube already. And that's the name of the album. I heard it's a mess there too. Perfect title for the times. And they clone Tyrone. Aesop is dope. We at so atmosphere. Yeah, you're bringing up atmosphere, slug. What is it? Rhyme Sayers Entertainment. So that's the label he's under now. He used to be under Def Jux, Definitive Jux, record label back in the day. But yeah, no, he's been rocking with the Rhyme Sayers. So you could look up Rhyme Sayers on YouTube and see their catalog of artists and stuff like that. And so yeah, if you're wanting to listen to the album, which I recommend, one of the best lyricists of all time, in my opinion, one of my favorites. And if you're wondering what I'm listening to lately, besides meditation music and stuff, is Aesop Rock and even his older stuff. He does have a website as well, and just their the way whoops the way they're bringing the albums out. They're bringing up. You could get it on vinyl. You could get it on CD. Yeah, still CDs, and you could get cassettes too, which is super cool. And we'll have a look at the shop here right quick. This is another fun track. So Aesop Rock could get real inverted. They say he's like the I heard someone leave a comment like he's the king of introverts or something like that. But anyway, he put out this super fun track recently, and it's called Roadwork Rapping, and it's basically themed around road work, and it's super cool, and it's for the kids. There's kids in the video, super cool, positive hip hop for the kids as well. And look, you can get the road work rapping die cut picture disc 7-inch vinyl. That's super cool. I love when they do stuff like that with the records. The movie, what was it? A Sasquatch Sunset. They put out vinyl records, and it's like they had prints on both sides of the vinyl record, which is super cool. Tate Hieronymus got a copy of that. And I'm a vinyl collector, so and I haven't been doing it in a long time, but I still got some stacks of records around there. Let's see. So that's this is the last album he dropped. The Black Hole Super 8, super cool, super fun. We did a kind of like a live review of it also. Took a tour inside of the store and everything. And yeah, this was pretty interactive and fun. Some more merch there, even for the youth and everything. Aesop Rock doing his thing. He's been rocking for a long time too. He's been around for a long time, and I'm super happy that he still is around. Thank goodness, because I don't listen to too much stuff out there. And there it is, like cassettes. Anyone got a cassette player still out there? Let's see, what's Hillbilly Herb saying? I just set up a record listening area going through my old vinyls. Awesome. Now I got the itch to hit the used shops and go crate digging. Yep. Digging in the crates, baby. That's what it's about, man. And it's cool that you can still order stuff online and everything, just hop online and get it delivered. There's nothing like going to the record store and flipping through the vinyl records and hoping, sometimes you could listen to them. I miss the good old days of vinyl records. Oh yeah. Yep. Snap, crackle, and pop. That's another form for me. That's another form of ASMR. I was talking about the helicopter sound earlier. That gives me a little ASMR sound. I was watching Hellbent Holler earlier. Super cool, a premiere that they did. They're out there in the forest looking for some sort of dog man and just the crunching of the leaves. I got my crunching of the leaves fix. I love the sound of crunching leaves. Also does a ASMR type vibe to me. Love the smell of old crate of records. Yep. Like opening an old book. Yeah, there's this video with I'm sure maybe some of you might be familiar with the DJ Shadow from the Bay Area here in California. And there's I forget the name of the documentary, but they showed him and he I guess he used to either work at a record store or something like that. And they gave him access to like it was like this underground, almost like a basement of the record store, and it was just piles of records everywhere. It was crazy. And some for some that may not know, records are used also for sampling. So you could take a little sample sound or maybe certain instrument sounds and stuff like that. You could sample them and use it to create your own music. So that's why, for a lot of people, crate digging is important because you could get certain sounds that you wouldn't find anywhere else unless you had the instrument or maybe you're in that country or know how to produce that sound somehow. But yeah, sampling sounds, whole art form there. Let's see, Roger. I got some old vinyl that belonged to my dad and some that belonged to my grandma. Super cool. Yes, exactly. So, Roger, at the shop, actually, there's some stacks of vinyl records there that are from my grandfather. Remember, some of you may have seen, I showed my grandfather was a musician and they had just like how would you say animated, I guess you could say, but they used AI to animate one of their album covers. And so yeah, I got to finally get a bunch of grandpa's records that he left behind. And so yeah, I got to go get some milk crates or something, put those records in, get them out of the shop, or place them somewhere a little safer than where they're at now. But we'll get to that definitely. Yeah, it could be worth a ton. Plus, it's like, grandpa's picks too. So I'm sure it's select and I've already briefly gone through a lot of this stuff. I'm like, yeah, we're not selling this. I'm keeping it. Everyone rolled it as fast as they got it. All right. Well, that sounds good. Firewater. So yeah, the new album. Check it out, folks. If you're into different types of music, or maybe you're into Aesop Brock and didn't know he dropped some recent albums, they are out. Yeah, I hope to maybe get some of the stuff on vinyl too, just as collector stuff. You know, not only to scratch it all up, but maybe a collector. And usually vinyl for let's see here. Boom. We usually buy 2 of every record too. A lot of times, especially the singles from albums, they'll press them on vinyl and you get the clean version, dirty version, and instrumental. And yeah, we usually get 2 of those. And with the 2 turntables, usually a good DJ will be able to cut those records up and do little tricks and make sound effects and stuff like that. And that's how you do it with 2 records. Nowadays, there's stuff you could use and effects and all that, which is cool, but you wanna incorporate those effects with effects that you could do, uh, live yourself. Let's see, you've got old record of Fess Parker singing Davy Crockett. Oh, right on. I was thinking the other day of just vinyl. And I forgot who I was thinking in my head, and I'm by myself, right? And I'm thinking I was talking to someone about vinyl, and I was thinking I was like, dude, asking this person in my head, you ever run into Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass Band albums out there? I think have we talked about this? Uh, Herb Alpert. Did we get into that hillbilly herb? You got some Herb Alpert and the Tijuana, the TJ Brass Band albums? Wouldn't surprise me. All right, what else? Bigfoot news. I think that was it, man. I do have our usual maps ready to go here, but like I said, we're not doing a report night tonight. I did check to see if there's any fresh reports. Nothing new on the BFRO. And then over on Bigfoot Society, I gotta figure out how to. I don't know if there's a way to tell what reports are the newest, but it's a new database for me here. We will be reading reports off this site. Big up Jeremiah. And there it is, Bigfoot Society. Love the logo. Very Illuminati-ish. Got the all-seeing Bigfoot eye through the spectacle and the triangle and what else you see? The rays of the sun behind the pyramid and come on, y'all, break it down. Break it. And it doesn't mean that like you could use those symbols for your own good, I think. Especially if you know what they mean and know how to use them. Doesn't mean or maybe Jeremiah is part of the Illuminati. I don't know. Does anyone ask him? I haven't been in the field with him yet. I'll be sure to ask him. And I'm sure I have a feeling I'm gonna meet him one day. So yeah, he's been coming to Oregon a whole lot, and maybe next year we could hit up Firewater. You should come down to that festival. What is it? The Oak Ridge Sasquatch Summerfest. Should try to make that this year coming up. I'm gonna have to grab one. There are usually in the $1 crates. Yeah. Yeah, and you probably have some good pickings. I mean, you could find good stuff here in LA too, still. Some guys, some professional crate diggers might be, oh yeah, it's all dug out. A lot of guys will go to other states. Probably like garage sales is probably a good one. There's different sources for records. These guys travel to, other countries and hit those places up. But yeah, no vinyl. It's one of those things. And I was gonna say something came to mind, kind of vinyl. Well, it was just kind of making me think of yeah, El Chicano. We'll take a listen. Yeah, glad you brought that up. It's Grandpa's band that he was in, and then Grandpa had his salsa orchestra that he had. Played with yeah a lot of cool people like the Mambo King Tito Puente. All right. So yeah, Bigfoot Society. So they have a map here. If you guys haven't seen, this is another part of the recap we did the other night. We were checking out the. Oh, okay. There we go. The other night. So yeah, I just found this and I was like, oh, cool. Bigfoot Society has a map with database, I guess you could call it. And the only thing is I gotta figure out, see how I mean, obviously click on the little tabs there and then they pop up with the report and stuff. But I wonder if there's maybe in the report it'll give you the date. Let's see. Let's have a look here. We'll just click this and let's go to Cali. Hopefully this is Cali. Yeah, Cedarville. So west towards Mount Shasta. Let's see. And I'm checking to see if it tells you a date. So how would you tell like what are the freshest reports? What are the newest reports? I don't know if the map is that interactive yet, but have a look. Maybe one of you will figure it out. I'll be diving into this a little more and checking out the reports. Of course, I geek out on reports, even if they're not from like the Pacific Northwest or Southern California or Northern California. I read reports from all over the place. But it's super cool when it's in your area, right? That's why I was bringing up the whole Dinky Creek thing. It's like, yeah, our backyard here. Although I don't know the area well, I haven't been there yet, but I could totally, it's totally possible to get there. Few hour drive, maybe like 4 or 5 hours, but yeah, it's on the list to go. Let's see, listen to Avesham movie, a movie soundtrack called Illuminati. Avesham Indian movie. Right on. And if you have a wrench there, you could always post a link if there's a link to that. ESF. All right. So yeah, maps, more reports. And if you got a Bigfoot report, send it on in. Let's see here. I did finally find I was having trouble finding my email, and I finally ran into it. I'm like, there you are, of course. Spoke of it, and boom, there it was. I was thinking, where you been, email? I've been trying to find you. I thought you disappeared, but it's back. So if you need to reach out, check an email. I'll make it a thing to check up on it. And there's other ways to reach me. Apparently, someone reached out and we've become friends so far. And they're going to be hitting Mount Shasta again. They went up to Mount Shasta last weekend, I believe it was. And I think I want to say they summited. They went way up there. There was snow up there. There's no reports of any high strangeness happening yet, but he is headed back up this weekend and is going to be spending several days there. So we'll be getting a Mount Shasta report. We've been checking out the live feed there. I got my live feed camera set up too, but I don't think we'll see here. I'm gonna throw out a couple of links here, hot links. And yeah, the spread shop. We got the little shop where you could get, your Bigfoot Dwarf merch now. And thank you to those that have made purchases thus far. Much appreciated. Much love to you. And yeah, it's just like kind of, I guess I'll call it a prototype run. I just wanted to get the shop up and going. I had some designs already, but in the future, I do want to eventually work with some artists and really get my own shop going, like 100% dwarf and collabs and all that fun stuff. Yeah, that'd be fun. Also, there's this number. Yeah, you want to try it, give it a shot. You never know. I might pick up anyone's ever trying to reach out. Not hard to find. And yet people still have trouble sometimes. Like, hey, I've been trying to reach you. Like, really? Again, I'll throw that up the email. And yeah, thank you all for hanging out. It's been fun. Let's see here. Probably do another little 10 minutes. Man, I can't believe it's almost been 2 hours. Whoa. Yeah, there's more stuff I'm sure I could. Let's see. Doo, doo, doo. Gotta make sure there's no other speed chases happening. You might get a third. You might get the hat trick. Posting some links right now, right on. And you could post links and pictures and whatever they let you post on my YouTube page. So if you go to my post section, you might say like community posts or something like that. You could share links, pictures, and all that. Yeah. Two of you have so far. And Roger, I will be checking my Instagram as you told me that you shared something with me over there also. I have not been too active over on the IG or the TikTok either. Um really mainly active here, but I will get back into it. It was good to take a break from all those other platforms. I'm not too great over there. But YouTube, I'm always, binge watching stuff, watching y'all. I'm usually watching you guys. It's usually the other way around. I'm in your chat. Hopefully, you're hanging out in my chat. And yeah, it's weird. You would think that there would be more people up in my chat now that we've hit like what 11 over 11,000 subs. Is there any way to resurrect dead subs? All right. I guess we could have a little look. Let's see. Should we do? I'm still kind of like coming down from that speed chase. Should we do? I like doing Yosemite. So Yosemite the other night, we thought there was like I don't know if it was a bat or what the heck was going on. We've gotten some strange things on these cameras sometimes. The other day, what was it? Lake Tahoe we did also. And there was like snow. It was looking pretty weird because it's coming in fast. But I think yeah, it was snow and wind. Um yes, I don't think it was anything too weird. But sometimes we get these weird little things go by the camera here. We'll have a look. Let's see. For a few minutes as we roll the last one up for the night here. Hillbilly, you got us covered. Get a last bomber ready and we'll wrap her up. But yeah, I do want to get into the reports again. So maybe later this week. I have been taking the gear to the shop and I'll set up, but I won't go live. And just I guess I kind of need something like the speed chase, the little give me the push and be like, yo, let's do this. And Hillbilly Herb, I'm finally happy I found you. I don't know why I wasn't subscribed to your YouTube channel, bro. I was like, what? I've been missing out. And yeah, nice to see your gardens there. See, next month usually starts snow season in Oregon. Yes, I believe so this past weekend we're supposed to be back up at Bluff Creek, but we decided to pull out on the whole situation just because we heard about a storm or several storms rolling through, and so yeah, they said there was going to be snow in higher elevations and rain and so we figured that probably not a good idea. And plus, I believe they closed the gates this weekend. And we were thinking also, well, they were mentioning some of our peoples that were supposed to be there, that there was a chance that forestry might have even closed the gates a little earlier due to that storm. So yeah, we didn't want to get stuck in there. And so we called it off, which is a bit of a bummer, but it's also cool that we didn't get stuck up there or anything. And again, so this is cool because it reminds me. I also on another post. Let's see. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna go to my channel really quick because there's another share that I did earlier today, and it's cool because this channel it's new to me. I think he goes by. There it is. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Hopefully, I can pull this up. There it is. So there's the share, and it's looking for the Bigfoot PG film site. I do. I believe the rest of the title is, and I recommend you checking it out. And it's a family. I would take it. They're from Montana. I don't know the. I think the guy's channel name, his handle is it Montana Dad Bigfoot or Bigfoot Montana Dad? I'm not sure, but I left a message and, he responded back. Sounds like a super cool dude. Took his kids and they were trying to figure out where the Patterson Gimlin film site was, which is like, whoa, bro. Uh, let's just say they figured it out, but there was an interesting twist. There was kind of like a trackway they found, and it seemed like someone had maybe casted some of the tracks, and they found that in off some old logging road. And if you get into some of my previous videos, we did some walking around some of those old logging roads, and they could get gnarly. A lot of them are getting eaten over by the forest again, and it was super weird if that, and I do believe he did find it. He says this is a real thing, and it seems pretty real. But if it's not, he got me. But yeah, it was interesting. It was some like ground impressions, and it seemed like, I guess, there was like casting material kind of left around, and someone even left a knife that they maybe used to like pull the tracks. As you could hear fireworks going off outside. The Dodgers win. Did we get confirmation on that? Um, and so yeah, that was a super cool find, and I thank goodness they didn't get lost, but they did have trouble leaving the site. Something a little weird happened to them, and so again, I recommend you checking it out, and you could click that over here. Yeah, give it a click, give him a thumbs up, and it was super cool that he took his kids once again. The first time I went, I took my son, and we didn't know either how to get to the film site. We actually pulled up at Louse Camp, and brother Mike, I talk about this, who was a ex uh, LA sheriff, and he would go up to Bluff Creek. I think going back from like the mid '80s, and he was the one we ran into him when we first got to Louse Camp. Everyone else at camp was already at the film site, and we had no idea how to get there. And luckily, Mike was kind enough to take us from Louse Camp over to the PG site. He even hiked down with us the whole way. We got this, I got this on video, and he led us straight to there. I would have never found it, you know, and thankfully Mike did. And then Mike passed a few years back, and we released his ashes into Bluff Creek. It was a nice ceremony that his family did. I actually got to watch from the bridge. I gave them their space, but yeah, that was his wish, was to be released into the Bluff Creek area. So Mike lives on there, and yeah, it was super cool how all that worked out. But yeah, and then if there that was a trackway, I'm wondering if it was our buddy Todd Samples who maybe casted those tracks, because they've been really working that Bluff Creek area, and he's been featured with recently with uh Eric from the Willow Creek Bigfoot Museum. There was hear that fireworks. Let's see, can we get some fireworks here? Maybe this time. Let's see. Still not activating. I'm gonna have a talk with my camera later today. What up, Barbie? Go Dodgers! Yeehaw! Let's see. What do we have here for that? We got some applause. Yeah, yeah. Hillbilly Irv is Canadian, so he's probably going for those Blue Jays. It's all good. We're gonna keep it peaceful here. Yeah, so super cool video there, and then they featured Jonathan Easley. We've been talking about we talk about Jonathan Easley here quite a bit. Call his ass to the office. Jonathan Easley to the office. You're in trouble, way. Yeah, much love, Jonathan. Yeah, he featured one of Jonathan's videos on there, and who else? And he featured Lazy Cowboy, who we talked about earlier, who put out a rebuttal, I guess, video to the MK video, MK Davis video we were mentioning earlier. So I'll scroll down here a little lower, and then you could see, look, episode 61 is out. Bigfoot in Hot Spring. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Looks like he's in the redwoods somewhere. Cool little ferns. And so yeah, I guess there are AI option in the posts. If you go to your posts on the bottom left, there's going to be a square next to your pictures that are in your phone. And this is the post on your YouTube channel. There should be a little like orangey yellowish, almost looks like an Instagram logo, but it's an AI. And I mentioned it to Jonathan Easley. He's like, "Yeah, I got it now because he didn't have the option before. So maybe everyone has the AI option now because they've been taking it on and off. So it's back on now. Yeah, folks. Yeah, you could create little posts. I like to do the little claymations and stuff. And we have these Bigfoot episodes. So stay tuned for episode 62 if we still have the option. Bro went to go see Coyote and his homeboy here the other night. They performed, I think it was here in Alhambra, in the Alhambra here. And I don't know. I think he was bro was talking to the manager, and it sounds like, might want to get him to perform over at the Catalyst. But anyway, I put a link to their one of their hit songs there, and they feature Be Real from Cypress Hill. And yeah, they just break down the LA lingo. Very cool song. It's gotten a lot of hits. And bro picked up the vinyl. Speaking of vinyl again, there we go. Got it signed also with the American flag back there too. Interesting cover. You got the red and blue. Could be very Masonic. I want to get into an episode, even like, he's throwing up his horns there. Uh yeah, like gang signs and how it ties to uh, the Masons and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that comes from them, I believe. Let's see. There's the album link, Aesop Rock's album. All right. So don't miss out. Don't say you couldn't find it. A whole album for free there. And I was able to actually download it for free also in WAV files. So big thank you to Aesop Rock. And yeah, you can still purchase it. See, they make it available free, but you can still purchase it. So yeah, go ahead and support. We'll be copping something there soon. Where to go? Right here is the video from Lazy Cowboy reacting and responding to the MK Davis video. Please check it out, folks. Like I said, he does these AI maps and stuff and breaks it down, and I think his maps are pretty accurate of the area. Super cool to see. And again, earlier I was mentioning about, the questions I had about the massacre and all that. Another thing is I'll bring up once again is if MK's Davis location of the Patterson Gimlin site is different than the Bluff Creek projects and everyone else's, whoever else has been going to this Bluff Creek project, Patterson Gimlin film site, which I think is the one, then there's a whole issue with what he's pointing out. And I know he pointed out what some things, some like what they call the log jammer. There's certain landmarks in the area, like the bowling alley. There's certain things out there that people have marked to pinpoint the location and all that stuff. And so yeah, I see those things when I go and what I've been taught and what I've been shown. And I think we got the right place. So I don't know. Got to bring those questions up. And as we pass the 2-hour mark here, I thank you all for hanging out. Let's see. Gonna check some of these comments right there. After sitting through hundreds of games, you spot lots of patterns and games within the game. All right, we're talking about games. Yeah. Yes, baseball is totally Masonic, 100% fire, water, good one. Look at the field layout. Yes. What else? I think basketball and other sports too have ties to the Freemasons. So many other things too. Yeah. So the colors in certain gangs, gang signs, certain things. Even in you could say Rastafarianism. There's a lot of Masonic things in there too. There's some Rastas that claim to be Freemasons as well. So that's interesting. And yeah, I've checked some of these people out and what they have to say. Anyway, so yeah, y'all. Yeah, Stone Raiders, Temples of Boom. Y'all have a good rest of the night. Thank you for hanging out. And we'll be popping up like this again. We'll be putting this the new phone to work too. And hopefully we get some good feedback, some good footage as well to share. And yeah, new videos coming out. Still chipping away, working on these new vids, and they'll be out soon. Stay tuned, stay blessed, y'all. One love. And we're gonna hit our outro here in a second, Maestro. Senor Dwarf. Por favor. Let's see, where you at? There you are. Here we go. Okay. Again.